the session now. So, Saurabh sir, are we good to go? Can we begin the session?
Yeah.
I will quickly give you an introduction and then we can start. So a very good morning to all of you. Welcome on this Sunday morning to this session on career in data science. And today we have with us our proud alumni, Mr. Saurabh Bidwai. So Mr. Saurabh Bidwai, who's currently working as a data science specialist at Luminescent Digital. His past experience includes various companies like Z5, Upgrad, Shezartech, Packt, and also Open Insights. He's a data science professional, strongly inclined towards analytics, ML, and big data. Mr. Bidwai has a wide experience of design and developing data science solution and analytics solution for complex business problems across various domains like consumer, marketing, BFSI, and many more domains. Once again, a very warm welcome to all the participants on behalf of Aegis School of Data Science. My name is Nada Parkar. I'm currently working as assistant professor at Aegis School of Data Science. So I'm sure many participants are here to know how do you achieve your career in data science. Some of you are already a part of the data science career process. So all over to you, Mr. Saurabh Bidwai.
Hello. I hope I'm audible. Right?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. First of all, thanks, Nida, for the warm welcome and the introduction. Okay. Hello, everyone. As Nida already gave me my brief introduction. As Nida mentioned, today we would be talking about the career in data science field. Okay. So before going into the part, we'll try to understand a brief things about how.
Saurabh, your voice is not coming very clear. Maybe this is because of the Bluetooth headset or something. So if you can just look it up.
Just give me a minute.
Hello, Ritin, is it good now?
Yeah, very much clear. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. So we would be briefly touch upon the points like what is industry expected, what are the skills needed, what are the things you need to prepare while going for the interviews and all those things. Okay. But first of all, going into this, I want this discussion to not just one-way discussion. I want you to come up with your own questions, so that would be really helpful for you also, and it would be helpful for me also to give you the idea what are your with the questions which you have. Otherwise, if I continue to talk about the same point, then it would be kind of a speech which I don't want it to be like that. Okay, so I'll quickly share my screen where there are some pointers which are being made to discuss on this one. Let me know once it is visible. Okay. Ritin, is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, Dr. Edwin Deming was a famous statistician, professor. He did a lot of work for US government also. Some of the work which is done used by a lot of in a lot of departments. So God with us, all other brings data. So day by day, data's importance for making important decisions, every decision in the organization, in our personal life, in personal aspect is growing. So, and whenever this data comes into the picture, the people who are having the knowledge, who are having expertise handling that data, analyzing that data, preparing that data. Demand for those profession is growing day by day. And as we all know, you must have seen the stats from the Google and all, how data's speed of generation of data is growing day by day. So as data gets, the speed of the data generation gets increases, the professionals who need to handle the data, analyze data will also need. So we will try to understand what are the things which we need to get into this career in data science field, and how we can work on those things. Okay. So briefly in my personal life, how it is started. Okay. So I think my career is also same as many of you. Okay. I did my engineering in information technology. Then I did my PGP in data science. While doing my PGP, I got placed into Open Insight, where I've started my career as a data science intern. And then I worked in a different organization. Then got an opportunity to work with different clients, spanning from telecom, BFSI, entertainment, and automobile. So these different domains I've worked on. I got an opportunity to work on a different parts of a data science. I've started with NLP, then big data analytics, and then machine learning. Different business problems I saw solved with data science analytics, and that's how I grew, and I traveled through this industry. Okay. So quickly, as we all know. So just one thing, Ritin, I won't be able to see any comments. So if there are any questions or anything coming up in the comments, just please let me know. Okay.
Certainly, yes.
And guys, please, whatever doubts, question you have, please post these in the comments, so that we can discuss those whenever in middle of presentation or anywhere we can touch upon those questions. Okay. So now as you are already in the industry, or you want to be in this industry, or in any of the step you are to get into this industry. Okay. So you must have heard these different terms, right? So I'll just minimize this. Okay, so data science, big data, business analytics, and what are these terms? So I'll quickly touch upon those. So data science is a very broad term nowadays. Okay, in this, machine learning also comes, AI also comes, even basic your analytics also comes. So data science is a bigger term, where under this umbrella these different terms comes into it. Okay, so data science mainly consists of analytics, machine learning part, even an advanced analytics part, where you use these algorithms, machine learning algorithms, and deep learning algorithms, so get insights of the data and make predictions. Okay, so data science, as a data scientist, you are expected to work on these different aspects. Okay, so data science is not really related. When I just mentioned machine learning and those things, it is not related to that, because data science is a broad term. Industry is expecting you to work as a data scientist from end-to-end solutions, right from the data generation, data architecture, how these data will come into your data warehouses or a big data platforms, then data cleaning, getting the data, getting insight out of that data, applying machine learning algorithms and all that on data, and productionizing those algorithms. Okay, so data science is a very broad term. Okay, then big data comes. Okay, so as the name suggests, the data size which is there in the big data is very huge. It is not like our traditional data sources or our Excel file. The data size which is there in the big data is humongous. Okay, and we need to work on that. So to work on that, there are different technologies which are being used to work on that data, because with our regular system, processes, we won't be able to handle that kind of data, analyze that kind of data. Okay, so big data in that term, so all Hadoop, PySpark, Spark, those things comes. Okay, and business analytics is like presenting those insights, getting those insights out of data, using SQL or your dashboarding, reporting tools, using those to help business understand what is there in the data, what is there in there are insights in the data. So these are the things mainly are related to data science, big data, and business analytics. Okay. So again there are, you must have heard different terms like what are AI roles, machine learning roles, deep learning roles plays in data science. Okay, so as I briefly mentioned, what are the things which are setting in these different domains like business analytics, big data. We'll touch upon these different roles, how these things are playing different roles in data science. Okay, so when we say AI is of course artificial intelligence. Okay, artificial intelligence in this field majorly advanced machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms are used to do image processing, natural language processing, and other kind of data which is there, not just our traditional tabular data. Okay, but image data or a speech data, that is something which is also being used to use this data to build some models. Okay, to like speech recognition, like Alexa and Google Home. So these are the devices, even our intelligence monitoring systems, like which is being used by our traffic control departments. Okay, so to see what are the illegal won't say illegal, but traffic violations which are made via these surveillance systems. So these are heavily used in those domains where surveillance and speech recognition and these things comes into the picture. Okay, then comes on to the machine learning part. Okay, so machine learning part where we use these machine learning algorithms. Okay, to get insight out of that data. Okay, and make predictions. Okay, so and we majorly in machine learning, majorly our traditional data sources are being used like CSV files or our data warehousing tables, data warehouse tables, or even sometimes our big data Hadoop tables are being used as a data for these algorithms, and then we make predictions based on that. Like you must have seen, like churners is a very classic example of machine which is solved by machine learning. Like whenever there is churn in telecom, or this term now broadly used in different industries also. So in banking, if someone is showing some kind of a behavior where are chances that this customer will go away from the bank, so to predicting that in advance, like this person is showing these kind of behavior based on our past history of the customers who churn. So based on that, we can make prediction and we can engage with those customers, like to avoid making them churn. Okay, so these are the things. Deep learning also, as I mentioned you, AI is a broader team where deep learning algorithms are these things used. Okay, again these algorithms are used for a different problem statement which is related to your speech recognition, image processing, your natural language processing, and these in different problem statement, these deep learning algorithms are being used. Okay, then how are these fields changing the world? Okay, so how I think we in today's world, from the day we start our life till the end of the night, we use these different things. Okay, starting from the whenever in the morning we go for a run, right? Nowadays many of the people are using smart watches, smart bands. Okay, whatever the data gets generated through that, and analyzing that data further to give you the insight, like this is something which trend which we are observing in your running or whatever it is. Okay, analyzing that data. Okay, how your in your companies, how your manufacturing process are working. Are they efficient enough to are they efficient enough in an industry to work with these things? What kind of optimization we can make in those to make them fully utilized, right? For that, whatever the IoT devices are which are being placed in those manufacturing sites and all, so these are being used. Even logistic industry is heavily using to optimize your routes, optimizing your delivery of the goods. So they are heavily using now. This is the insights or the prediction power which these algorithms and these technologies are giving us to handle these kind of data is helping us heavily to work with these things. Okay, so earlier, if you see that there are things which were even we had the data, but we were not really able to analyze that data further. But with the help of big data technologies and things, the hardware capabilities which are now with us, we are able to analyze that data, which is helping us. So telecom, if you see telecom data is very huge data. Okay, earlier we were not really able to analyze data, but the capability, the hardware capabilities which are being built in last few years, that is really helping us to analyze that data further and take business actions based on that. Okay, so in every aspect, either this is optimizing, or this is giving a one step advantage to the industry, or this is somewhere other, this is solving a completely a new problem which world was facing earlier. Okay, and it is bringing some of the things which we haven't seen earlier. Okay, which we never thought of that. Okay, like robots. So Sophia, the smart robot, which is totally AI based, right? But people never ever thought of that something like that will happen. Okay, so these things are coming into the industry based because of data science and AI and machine learning, which came into the picture. Okay. So now we'll go into the main part of it, like what is the jobs, what are the career opportunities in the industry. So at the very start, where I've mentioned you, whenever the data comes into the picture, the data scientist or business analytics or any of the profession which is related to data will come here. Okay, so based on your competencies, based on your skills, you can work in these different domains. Okay, and there are ample opportunities which are there in the industry. Okay, so as I mentioned you, nowadays and after and especially after this pandemic, okay, everyone is moving towards digitalization, cloud and all. Okay, which is again opening the doors in the different industries to get in. Okay, because earlier some of these industries were not really keen on this data side or not, but pandemic forced them to move on to the digital side. Okay, which is creating a humongous kind of data for them, and obviously if they want to sustain and if they want to grow further in the industry, they have to leverage their data and understand what is that is happening in the different aspects. Is customer experience, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is your different domains which are there, which they have to use data science to get one step further of their competitors. Okay, so jobs opportunity, of course, like there are different terms you must have heard: data engineer, business analyst, data scientist, AI engineer, machine learning engineer. These different opportunities which are there. We'll discuss briefly on those. What are these different jobs opportunities? What these different designation means, what they exactly do. We'll try to discuss those points. And what are the career? So these are the different career opportunities which are there in these different industries. Okay. I think meanwhile, I think before get into that, do you have any questions? Anything do you want to? Are there any doubts which you want to understand from a data science world point of view? Because now we will be moving towards jobs and career opportunities. But before going into that, if you have any questions, generalize about data science, about machine learning, or the conceptual questions on that, then please ask that right now.
Participants, do you have any questions? You can put it in the chat if you have anything.
Just give me a minute. Nida?
Hello,
Is
yes.
there
No, there's no question. One question from my end. So there are a lot of participants who are already in the process of, they're already into the data science course. Am I audible clearly?
yeah.
So one thing which, before you proceed towards the job and the job opportunities, if you can discuss a small use case of any problem, business problem that you have personally handled because you have worked across various domains. So just in short about any business problems, a start to end approach or use case, if you can discuss that.
Yeah. I think in some of these next slides, there is one slide which is based on the case study. I think
All
we
right,
can
okay, great.
discuss one of the case study based on that. Okay.
Definitely. All right.
Okay. So I think if everyone is good with up till now, so we can move ahead with the job opportunity career things. Okay. So what are the skills and competencies are required in the market to become a data scientist, AI engineer, ML engineer, business analyst, or data engineer? Okay. So I think initially when I started my career, I think it was just plain vanilla data science thing. But nowadays there are specialization which comes into the picture in the industry now, because there are a lot of things. Industry got matured itself, and there are a lot of things which are coming new to the market, and where these specializations are needed. Again, of course, like when you tagged as a data scientist, it is expected to you to work on these different things. But if industry feel or organization feel there where they need these specialists who will totally work in that particular thing, then these specialization AI engineers, ML engineers will come into the picture. Okay. So what are these different roles, and what are the skills and competencies which are required for these different roles? Okay. So I think data scientist, we have already discussed that. I think data scientist is a very broad term which spans from a very initial aspect of data architecture, how this data will come into your data warehouses or a big data platform, how that will flow into your machine learning algorithms, what is the data cleaning and all that happen, and productionizing those algorithms, if these are production ready, or getting insights or predictions out of their data and pass it on to the business, help them understand how these algorithms are working, what are the things which are going into that. Because at the end of the day, whatever you do, that should be able to help the business to use that. Because at the end of the day, whatever we are doing, it is for the industry, right? It is for the business, and they need to understand that. So you also have the responsibility to help them understand what is that is happening, because of that these predictions are made. Okay. So what are the reasons behind that, giving those insights to the business, help them understand what are these numbers are telling about what is where the business is going on. Okay, so data scientist is a very broad term where you are expected to work on these different things. Okay, it is not specifically you should work on all the aspects, but at least you should have the idea, you should have the understanding how these things work, so that even if a person who is specialized in that particular field comes into the picture, you need to understand how these things, because these things are interconnected. You have to work with these different data engineers or business analyst, reporting guys. You need to work with all of them to help how these things are going on. Okay, so data scientist is someone who is expected to work on these things, or at least have the understanding on a data engineer or analytics part, and he should have the has his own competencies of machine learning and analytics, those things. Okay, then there are AI engineers and machine learning engineers. Okay, so these roles are mainly into productionizing your algorithms, putting that in the system where data can flow into these algorithms on a regular basis. How that process is, whether is it a batch process or it is a streaming process, whatever the process that is defined for that algorithm, make those productionized things, put those algorithms which are being built maybe by data scientists or anyone with that, put that in production and help business or a data scientist with seamless flow of that particular process. Okay, because it is whenever you build those algorithms, you build those models, it is not necessarily these are the production ready algorithms, models, right? So where these AI engineers and ML engineers come into the picture, which help industry, which help data scientists and the business to streamline that process, where they picked up, where they understand what is happening from a data side, how data is coming, where that data is landing, picking up that data, what is the structure which are being made in that model, get that data in that form and structure. Okay, pass it on to the model, and then get those outputs, and use those outputs, or put those outputs at the respective locations where that is expected. Okay, again in these terms, AI engineer, ML engineers are same. Like AI engineers will mainly expected to work on the AI side of things, AI side of models, and ML engineers are machine learning side of the model. But again, this is not really specific to those things. That means ML, if you're ML engineer, you won't be asked to work on productionizing these AI models. It won't happen like that. Okay, so you when it is said as an engineer, it is expected to you work with these different things. Okay, then the business analysts are the mainly guys who heavily work with the business people. Okay, they'll understand in what perspective, with the what thinking they are looking at the data. Like they want to see it, like how market is performing, how in what aspect they want to look at. They'll try to understand that, and then create these insights, these presentations, these reportings, these dashboards they'll create in that fashion. Okay, uh, so I think we missed on the skills part. So we'll once we're done with how what are the things they do, we'll touch upon the skills part which are required for these different roles. Okay, so business analyst will mainly work with your SQL, Excel things, with the and the dashboard and reporting tools like Power BI, Tableau. These are being used, and they'll someone who understand the business as well, and understand the data which is coming out of our models or the analytics which is coming. They also understand that, so they marry both the things and then present it to the business and the stakeholders and the CXO level guys, what is this that is happening and what is that model is doing for us, and they help these business counterparts with these aspects. Okay, then there is a term called which is data engineer. Okay, so data engineer are the guys who mainly work on the availability of the data thing. Okay, so there are these different tools or the hardwares which are fetching a data for us. If there are, like, let's say IoT devices which are sitting in the manufacturing facilities. Okay, these are fetching their own data. There are different tools which are integrated with your APKs. Okay, so there APK is like your Android device file. Okay, installation file. Okay, so in those APKs there are different tools or different APIs which are sitting there, which on a regular basis, whenever the activity which is expected activity happens on the app or any of the platform, that will fetch the data and come into the your whatever the data source being assigned to that. Okay, so they look after these different data avenues, data sources which are coming in our data warehouses. They manage those data warehouses and big data platforms, like how data is coming, what are the schema, in what format the data is coming, in what format that data is being stored, optimally storing that data, because nowadays, as data sizes is humongous, it is also important to choose right data formats to efficiently work with that. So choosing those right formats of the data, making those pipelines from where this data is coming, where that data will reside, and then how data engineer, data science team or the analytics team will consume that data, make that data in that format, because whenever data comes to data engineering team, it is the raw data. Okay, so there are some pre-processing steps which need to be done, basic pre-processing steps which need to be done by data engineering team, make them available in the format which is really consumable for a data science team or analytics team. So they are the guys who really work with that kind of thing. Okay, so that is there. And then the skill for a data scientist, AI, ML engineer. Okay, so as I mentioned you, data scientist is a very broad term. They may be expected to work on these different parts which are being assigned to these different roles, like a ML engineer, business analyst, data engineer. They have to work on these things also, because frankly speaking, from my experience up till now, industry got matured, but 2 years, 3 years down the line, earlier, if you see, industry was really just aware of the term data science. They were not aware like what are the things needed. So of course, before data science, data engineers comes into the picture. So I think I myself on the data engineering part a lot of times to make the data available for my model I'm building. Okay, so now these industries maturing, they are getting these specialized people for these different roles, but it depends on your organization at what level they are. Okay, if they are matured enough, then these people would be there to help you out with these things. If it is at a very nascent stage, then you may have to work on these different parts. Okay, so data scientist, of course, from language point of view, Python, R, these different things are expected you to know. Okay, then the machine learning, AI algorithms which are there, you should have the understanding of those, SQL and Excel. So these two things, in my personal view, we won't go away anytime soon. Okay, so and these are the very basic from for all these rules, SQL and Excel, which is there, which is must. You should know all the things about that. Okay, so that is a very basic need which is there for all these rules. Okay, then I think of course the presentation, preparing those dashboard is something also expected from a data scientist and business analyst. AI engineer, ML engineer, there are ML ops, DevOps things which are coming, which helps Kubernetes. These are different things which helps productionizing these models or putting these models in the production. Okay, So AI engineer, ML engineer, of course, whatever the language which is being used by data scientists for building those models, they should have the at least understanding of those languages, like whatever they've made these codes ready, models ready, which is maybe Python or R. So AI engineer need to get those models from them and make them productionized. So of course, Python and R is not that much used nowadays. Python is heavily used for the model building and all. So that is something which is expected from AI engineer and ML engineer to have the understanding on those. And of course, one of the thing which is coming now, as work from home is currently is still there, that culture is bought by a pandemic nowadays. There are hybrid models which are in the industry, but somewhere world is moving onto the cloud. So of course you for all these roles, you should also have the basic understanding of cloud technologies. Either it is AWS, GCP, whatever the cloud service providers is there. Okay, you should have also a basic understanding of those which is needed, because nowadays there are a lot of tools which are fully functional on the cloud itself. You can work on it from anywhere. So you should also have the understanding on those. Okay. And again, I think from a big data point of view, of course, data scientists, nevertheless, they have to work on those things. But whenever the big data engineers or big data rules come into the picture, then your Hadoop ecosystem, Hayu, Pig, these things come to the picture, handling that data on the big data platform. Then the productionizing these jobs, big data production, big data processing jobs, using whatever the technologies. I think Spark is mainly built onto the Scala. Okay, so Scala is something which is preferred, but PySpark is also having very good support on the Spark ecosystem. So that is something which is expected from you when you would be working on a big data platform or as a data scientist. Okay, so that is there. Is there, because there are a lot of aspects into this, guys, because there are different technologies and skills which are being utilized for these roles. Okay, so if you have any questions on that, then please ask me right now. Nida?
Participants, do we have any questions? I don't think there are any questions. You can proceed further.
Yeah, I think only there are two chances. Either I'm explaining very well or or very bad. I don't know which one is, but let's go ahead with this. Okay, we have discussed on that. Okay, so how can a person with no technical or coding background shift into analytics? So of course, so data science is not just a technology role. It is a technical role where you need to have a business understanding also to make your data really available, or make use of that data for your business. Okay, so it is a techno-functional role. Okay, so so of course, when you're coming from some background, if you're making a shift into this industry, you must be having understanding of those aspects, that aspect where you worked on. Okay, so that will give you the one advantage of a business understanding of that particular domain. Then you need to build on to this. Okay, so here again as we discussed these different roles like data engineer, data scientist, machine learning engineer, and business analyst. Okay, of course you can start or get into the industry with the basic analytics or business analyst profile. Okay, and then build onto your skills, get into the more complex Python and those things you can get into, and you can work on those, or you can upskill yourself using Aegis and those kind of institute, and then try to get into the industry. Okay, so there are different ways to it, and it based on your competencies, your skills, your willingness to put effort to learn those things. It totally depends on you. But for all the levels, all the levels which you go into, there are opportunities for you. Okay, so it is totally based on your efforts, how much effort you put, and where you want to be here. Okay. uh, Company's expectation. Okay, so company's expectations is mainly because, understand one thing, we are in a very dynamic world. Okay, so there are technologies which are changing in a month's time, in a year's time. Okay, so firstly and foremost, which is important, you should have the capabilities to learn those things. Okay, so industry, of course it depends on a different organization, but industry, you should firstly you should have the skills which are expected for that particular role or something like that. But at the same time, you should have the ability to learn new things if come into your way. Okay, that is something which is expected. Again, uh, it depends on the organization level, at which level that organization is. Okay, if it is very or middle of their maturity level from a data science perspective, then it may be expected to you to work on these different aspects which we discuss, like right from a data engineering side, then data science side, and presenting those insights, analytics, and dashboard, preparing those dashboard to the business. Okay, you are expected to work on all those things. But if you go on to the some organization which are matured enough in the industry, then you are expected to work on these specific uh, level of the whole data science pipeline. So maybe it's data engineering part, then data science or ML data science part, or ML engineer, AI engineer part, or business analytics part. Okay, so that is there. But of course the skills which we have discussed for these different roles would be expected. Okay, some of these basic things which we have discussed, like SQL, Excel, is very basic thing, which is kind of a must for every role which we have discussed. And then these specific skills which we have discussed for these different roles. Okay, that is expected. Okay, but one thing is common, which is nowadays it would be permanent going forward, and not just in a data science field, it is in every technology field which is there, because technology is changing day by day. You need to be flexible enough to work on these different technologies. So that is the bottom line. And of course, when you're going into the industry, you should have the understanding and even hands-on of these skills at what role which you're going. Okay, quick takeaways. Of course, basic is so nowadays what is happening, which I see, and there is nothing wrong about it, but I've seen many of the times candidates or the job aspirants, which they are working on a very higher level algorithms, like face recognition and all those things. But when we just go on to the basic, they don't know about anything. So I would really recommend you to make your basic strong first, because whatever which is there, whatever the ML algorithms, AI algorithms which are there, are totally based on your basic of your statistics and basics of your machine learning. Okay, so everything is built onto that. Okay, you may not be able to see that, because nowadays there are a lot of API based and a lot of when we may say automotive based things, where you don't really need to understand those basics of the working. You can directly use those APIs and work with that. But when you're coming into the industry, it is expected you to at least have understanding how that thing, or how that API, or how that package is really working. Okay, so basic is something which is very important. Again, SQL, Excel, that thing which we discussed, that is something which is a must. Okay, you should have the understanding of that and the programming knowledge. Okay, so those are the things which are very important. You need to really cognizant of that. And of course, I think one of the aspects which we mentioned, which we missed here, is projects. Okay, so I think whenever you're going for the job, okay, project is something which will really help you to showcase your abilities, showcase your skills, what you have done. Okay, so project is something which will really help you in every aspect of your interview or even your career also. Okay, so when you go like openly in the interview, and data science is already a very vast field. Okay, interviewer can ask you questions from anywhere, right? But project is something which would your opportunity to restrict your interviewer to aspects which you just that, right? When you put those projects which you really worked on yourself, okay, that will highly, in that case, highly likely that your interviewer ask you a question from those projects only, okay, where you ideally work, and that will really help you to in that interview. Okay, so though project is something which is also important. And again there are basic excuse me, there are basic things which you must have learned, or Aegis will really help you to learn on those things, which is from your LinkedIn point of view, from a community point of view, how you need to be active, how you need to approach your recruitment managers or people who are there in the industry to help you with these opportunities. Okay, so that thing is also important. Okay, you need to learn those things, how you need to be presentable on LinkedIn, how you should write those mails, send those mails, how you communicate, because I've seen earlier like people directly attach the file and please find at a PFA, they just write in the mail. So don't do that, that won't really help you. So these are the basic things are also there which you really need to understand. And of course the skills and things which we have discussed are something which is core to it, but these are the things are also expected from you to be well versed with. Okay, thank you. Nida, are there any questions?
Participants, do we have any questions?
I can see one question here. So I think Aditya wrote this question. He's asking, at a fresher level, if I want to pursue my career in how he should find a company at this level. Okay, so I think Aditya, you're jumping onto the at the very end part of it. Okay, firstly you need to focus whether I have the right skills, right competencies which are expected for this role and this company. Okay, so you need to work on that. I'm hoping you are aware of that. Okay, if you're not really aware, then whatever the companies which you're targeting, the roles which you're targeting, just connect with the people who are already in those roles and already in those organizations. Connect with them on LinkedIn or on any of the professional channels. Connect with them and try to understand them, what are the things which they are expecting. Okay, so that will really give you the idea what are the things, what are the yeah, so that those things would be there. Because again when you are asking like a company and the role, so that means you are really narrowed down your goal or focus, right? Then because big data technology point of view, there are different tools which are being used by the different industry companies, organizations. Okay, So these, of course, Hadoop, Hive, Flum, Pig, these are the things which are there. But you need to understand what are the technologies exactly they are using, and you need to work on those. Prepare your work on the small projects on those technologies, those things. Okay, create small projects or work on those things, and then you can approach the recruiters from the company to for this particular role. Okay, but engage with the people who are in that role exactly which you are looking for from that company, and you can work on those skills, and then you can make prepare for that particular role. Are
Hello.
there any questions, guys?
Yeah, one from my end. As I'd already mentioned, you, there are participants who are already enrolled into this course of data science. So, if we can, from your personal experience, discuss any of the business problems that you have solved. Just a quick end-to-end discussion where how did the data come in, which algorithm was used on it, how did it further move, and the business aspect of it. So, any quick use case if you
Okay.
can discuss.
Okay. I think we can quickly discuss on the part like which we can understand, and we face these issues on a regular, as the industry face these issues on a regular basis. So churn. Okay, churn is like people are going away from the organizations which is there, like this earlier this term was mainly used in the telecom industry, where in a like last decade, if we see, there are a lot of people, what are companies which came into the industry. They have disrupted the market, and then the consolidation which has happened in the industry. Okay, but earlier the consolidation, there were a lot of options which are there, and people were moving from this service provider to that service provider, and then portability is something which really added the oil into this particular competition. Okay, so the churn problem was very much there in that industry. Okay, so where this particular term got like really famous, and then this is being used in a different industries. Okay, so we can take a basic example of telecom churn only. Okay, so churn is something which is been defined by the industry. Okay, so when I worked on that, so it was like, if we don't see any activity or something like that in a 30 days of window from a customer, we tag them as a churn. Okay, so then as you are already aware and you are already enrolled in that, so I'm expecting you to have already a basic understanding of that. Okay, so once we have that data of the customers, we know their like how many calls they have made, how many messages they have did, what are the value added service they are using, how many incoming, outgoing, and all those aspects of the telecom, because we as a telecom is a basic need nowadays, and we know how it is being consumed in a different aspects. So we have all that different variables or features of the data of the consumption, and of course the demographic and all those demographic information which is there from those customers with us. Okay, now based on the our definition of churn, we tagged those users as a churners and non-churners. So now it is mainly from a building or training our model perspective right now. Once that model is trained, we can of course put into the production. Firstly, we need to test that and put into the production. Okay, so based on our definition, we have created the flag of churners and non-churners based on the data. Okay, so we have created that flag. Now we have a data of like our users IDs. There are different features which we have discussed already, like a consumption point of demographic point of view and all that. And then we have our target, which is like churners and non-churners. Okay, we will train our model based on that data. Okay, of course, the as these churner and non-churner, this is a classic binary classification problem. Okay, but of course we can also go on to for some of the ensemble techniques and different techniques which are there in the industry. We can these higher machine learning model we can use and check how these are performing. Okay, so these are the different algorithms which we can work on. Okay, once we have these once, of course, I'm jumping onto the lot of steps here. Of course, there are data cleaning steps and the pre-processing steps which are there, which I'm expecting you to be aware of that. Okay, and then once we make test these models on our test data, the test data, we once that is that our model achieves the particular accuracy and all the qualitative or the aspects which we look for the model point of view, or the whatever, which is R score, and then specificity and all that confusion matrix and everything. Once we are satisfied with that aspect, then we can put those models into production, and then we can check that how that is performing on a different data. Okay, and that will really help the business to take actions on these particular customers to avoid that churn, right? So because we based on the behavior and based on the demographic information, we can advance, we can predict in advance this particular customer is going to churn, and then accordingly business can engage with those customers on these different aspects. What are the pain areas which are being there for these customers, and accordingly they can engage with these customers, right? So of course here business won't really just this particular customer is going to churn or this particular customer is not going to churn. That won't really help them. They also need to understand what are the reasons behind those churns. So of course your decision tree models or the feature importance, those things really help you to understand what are the pain areas for these customers to churn. Okay, so you need to get out those rules from the data. So this particular group of customers is facing the network issue. This particular group of first customer is feeling that the prices of your pack or the thing is really high. That will really help you to understand these, and business people can accordingly engage with these customers based on that. Okay, so that is a complete use case how different machine learning models and these things are being used in the industry. Of course, I think I've briefly touch upon these different aspects. There is a lot in every aspect of every aspect of this use case, but I've briefly touched upon those.
Absolutely, Saurabh. So just one last question from my end. Since you worked on different domains, there is a concern among the participants about the domain knowledge, because when somebody steps in as a fresher, so how important it is to have the domain knowledge, or how much time would it take you to acquire that knowledge? Your experience in different domains that you've personally experienced.
Okay, so of course, domain is something which is important, because what happens, you are well versed with technology, you are well versed with everything, with the productionizing those algorithms and every aspect of it. But using that insights, using that data to help the business is also important, because you have, for that you need to have a business understanding. Okay, so churn. So when business, let's say business guy comes and want to see what is the churn, but if you are really not aware of the term churn, then that would be a problem, right? So in that case, as a fresher, it is if you have the basic understanding, layman understanding of the domain is well and good, but it is at a fresher level, it is not really expected you have a very well understanding of the business and all those aspects of the business. But once you go into the industry, it is expected from you to have those understandings, because I think there are industries which are really complex in itself, like a financial domain. If you look at even the investment banking domain, or some of the manufacturing domains are itself are very complex, and you need to have those understanding to use your data and use your insights in a really impact the business. Okay, on a fresher level, it is not really expected from you to have that detailed business understanding, because once you get into the industry, your manager and your colleagues will really help you with those things. At a fresher level, it is majorly focused on your skills, your ability to learn, your competencies, the basic communication things, your presentability and all those things. Okay, but if you have the basic understanding of the business, then that would be great.
That was very well explained. Do we have any more questions, participants?
Guys, if you are really enrolled participants, and if you do, as a data, and you want to be in the field of data science, and if you don't have the questions, then that is a really alarming situation, because data scientist is someone who should have the questions at every aspect of it. Okay, that then only you will able to solve those business problems, right? It is this is a problem, because until unless you will you don't ask those questions, you won't get the understanding, because then only you will understand these business aspects, right? So why this data is like that, what this data is suggesting. If you don't have the understanding, then how will you work on that?
Participants, grab this opportunity to know the insights, anything that you want to know from an industry person. You might not get such opportunities many times. So definitely go ahead with your questions. If there is anything that you want to ask, you don't want to speak up yourself, put it across in the chat. We will put across your question. Yes, any questions from the participants? Okay, I do not see any questions. I hope I'm clearly audible to all of you.
At least you're clearly audible to me. I don't know about others.
Okay, I don't think they have any questions. Are you sure this is the last time? I think we can ask once again. Any questions, participants? There are no questions. So Saurabh, I think you've covered up a lot of things very well. One of the highlighting point that you did explain the different skill sets and the job roles that are there in the industry. I mean, there's a lot of confusion between the participants. What kind of job role would you get? What kind of job role would require some skill sets or not. So I think you've briefly covered upon from the use case to the different job roles to everything, and and they're definitely giving the insight of how the industry works. So Saurabh, are you saying something?
No.
So thank you very much for your time, and it was a great learning session. And I'm sure each of the participants have gained from this session, and help them resolve their questions into their heads. So thank you very much once again on behalf of Aegis School of Data Science for coming and giving your time and taking up this session for us.
Thank you, Nida, for the opportunity. I hope whatever the points which I've discussed and mentioned here, that will really help the participants here. And if you still I don't think so you have any questions, because I'm kind of disappointed with that. But if you still have any questions with that, you can always connect with Nida and team, or you can directly ping me on LinkedIn or somewhere. Then we can discuss on that. But thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. It was great having you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.